Hello, everyone. My name is Tamika Troxler, and this is our sixth episode for Beyond the Batter. Can you really believe that? I am super excited and stoked tonight to have my special guest, which is my sidekick for Beyond the Batter, that goes by the name of Brandy Baker. She's going to really be dropping some great information tonight concerning business, loans, grants. So you don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. All right. If you are live, you're in the right place tonight. I'm going to go ahead and give it over to her right now. Come on, Brandy Baker, and go ahead and drop some gems.
Hey guys, how are you? How are you? I hope everybody can hear me. Brandy Baker here at Beyond the Batter. We are so excited to be here every time. We don't have a guest tonight. I guess I'm the guest, and me and my cousin Tamika will always take some time and like share some things that we've learned while we've been building businesses and things that we think that can help everybody that comes onto our calls. All right. So tonight we want to talk about how I acquired over six figures in grant money and loans last year. And it was actually more simple than I thought. It's the crazy thing about it is it was about being prepared more than anything. It was almost as if because a lot of people told me, they were like, I don't know how you got that much money. I tried to get this grant or this loan and it didn't go through for me. I don't know why they rejected me. And it was just really about knowing what to do, like knowing how your business should be established, knowing what type of tax paperwork you needed, knowing if your tax preparer had prepared that documentation properly or correctly. So all those things are a big part of it. And so I want to talk, we're not going to be long tonight. I just kind of want to run through some brief things about what you would need to get started. I think last year I got about $70,000 in grant funding. And then I got about 180,000. It might have been more, but from what I can remember, I got about $180,000 in government funding for loans, extremely low interest rates. I'm talking about 1% interest rate over 30 years, financing that you can use to leverage, to build your business up, to buy assets that bring more income in with really, really, really low rates. And if you know, like when you're starting a business or you're opening a business, the first thing you need is what? Capital. Most people can't grow and scale because of capital, right? And I mean, my cousin Tamika tell you, like, starting a business is like a lot of money that's from you, from what other businesses that you do or whatever side hustles that you have, right, Tamika?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. 100% with you.
Yeah. So I think I think the difficulty, right, to start a business is trying to figure out where you're going to get funding from and capital. Let me say this too. I'll never forget last year when I got my government loan. I had already applied for this loan 2 years prior, right? And I was going through, it took me a year to even get to the process of them basically telling me, you're just still not prepared yet. We feel like you probably would need more funding than you're asking for. We don't know how you would utilize this money and be able to grow your business. We need more documentation. It was just kind of a hassle and a runaround. And I'm sure a lot of people that are on tonight have experienced that, where it's like you go to the bank, you think you have everything you need, and they're like, no, we need more paperwork, or no, we need more forecasts. Well, no, how are you going to leverage this? Or how are you going to make that asset make more money for the business? And sometimes we get so discouraged by them asking us so many questions that we don't know how to answer. Right?
I call it the turnaround.
Yeah. It's like, okay, forget it.
And they're like, you're almost there. And so I need you to turn around, go back home and work on this.
I need you to do 70 more things.
Right.
And come back next year, right? So tonight I want to focus on just two things. I mean, two big parts of being able to get grant funding and being able to get loans from the government, right? So first of all, you have to have an LLC. And one cool thing that I've seen this year, people have been getting LLCs everywhere. If they're not doing anything else, they have been getting LLCs. I mean, I've seen so many LLC declarations posted on Facebook and Instagram. So I am proud of all of you guys. I will say this, I'm an accountant. So always keep in mind, when you form an LLC, it's a business and you have to pay the state required taxes every single year by April 15th. So if you're going to run your business and you're going to get your LLC, which is great, just make sure that you be committed to it, because there's no sense of having an LLC and paying $200 a year and you still haven't started creating any sales.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That is like a huge nugget. And let me tell you something. That's like a highlight of tonight, because that's always in the back of my mind when people are like, but I got an LLC. And I'm like, but have you asked yourself yet? Are you really generating money yet? Like,
Yes.
is it necessary yet? Because if you got to pay like, and I think it's like 220, if you got to pay like 220 something per year and you don't even make 220 yet, you might want to rethink some things. Like, you got to know what you're generating first.
And then tying up a business name that you don't use, right? It's also a thing, right? Even when, and then it dissolves and then the name's already been established. So someone has to go and create another name. And it's a company that you're not really utilizing. So, right. So the first thing I always tell people is, get your LLC, know what the name is, but also like kind of start working your business before you file for the LLC. Just be a sole proprietor. See how much marketing is going to cost. See how many transactions you can actually create under your own name. And then after you do that and the business begins to grow, I mean, if you make $1,000, then you should start doing an LLC, right? Because you can afford the LLC, number one, and you've seen that you can generate income, generate revenue. I think that's a huge thing. So the other thing is S Corp. So people throw these words around all the time. They throw around LLC, they throw around S Corp. I think the biggest part for that is just talking to your accountant and just really leveraging what the tax benefits are for you.
Can I ask something here? So Brandy, I know, like we were saying with the LLCs, is it really ideal for someone who is just starting out to say, because I always say I bake for friends and family. You know, in business, you just got to be smart. You got to make sure that you're generating a certain percentage, a certain income annually to make sure that, okay, now it makes sense for me to have an LLC. So do you suggest for first time business owners or anybody just getting their feet wet, just to say, listen, I do this for friends and family first, just to see where it's going?
Absolutely. Like, I think that's brilliant. I think you start a lawn care business, right? And you're like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get all my friends and family to let me cut their grass. And then that's going to start to generate enough revenue for me to learn my mistakes. If one of my employees falls and gets hurt, I don't have to be concerned with all the liability, because I know this person, they know my family. Because that's the big thing about having an LLC and an S Corp. It's really just about, and just corporation in general, it's about liability, right? And it's about taxes. And you want to eliminate the liability, but you can also just do that by just having the proper insurance in place. And that's another thing people don't consider. You can run and get an S Corp and have a business that services people. But also, if that service that you provide can cause injury to the person, then you need insurance, right? So these are some things of reasons why we get an LLC, why we get an S Corp.
Huge. Yeah, okay. That's huge.
So you have your S Corp, you have your LLC, right? And these are things you want to have when it comes to grants and when it comes to government funding, because these things tell them that you're serious about your business and that your financials are in place, and that there's no commingling of funds between personal and business, that you have a bank account established solely for your business, that your business may pay you a salary, or you may take profit or in dividends from that business. So these are the things that grants and government loan funding, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you and your business to truly be established, and you to be like a professional business owner, right? Not someone kind of filling it out and trying to see where they are. Even though, because of COVID, thank God, a lot of legislation was passed that allowed a lot of loopholes, a lot of situations where people that didn't have things in place were able to get funding, right? I know that I got a
Absolutely.
large amount of funding, but there were smaller amounts of funding for people that didn't have all that stuff in place.
Mm-hmm.
I know people got $10,000 grants that didn't have an LLC from the city, right? From the state.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It was available. So,
yes.
but it broke my heart to hear about people that couldn't get funding just based off just not knowing what to do, not wanting to spend the time. It was too much, or it was too frustrating. Right?
Oh, wow. Yes.
Or just not having finances in order. Don't have a simple P&L.
That is a huge problem. I feel like a lot of people look at it as, I want to become a business owner to get out of debt. Well, sometimes you have to think about cleaning the debt before you even start, because it's going to require you to really pour in a lot of income into your business. And so if you don't have, like I always say, if you don't have the swipe access, if you don't have the line of credit, then it's really going to be hard for you to do a lot. So, you know, like you say, you're an accountant, and gosh, she's a wonderful accountant. And she's a big finance person. My thing is, you have to align your credit. You know, you have to align, you know, your credit makes you talk and walk out here, especially in the area of business, you know. So that is a definite key nugget to definitely take down, guys. You gotta align your credit. You gotta make sure your ducks are in a row before you start even thinking about creating and generating wealth from businesses.
And do you manage your personal finances? Right? Like, it's so important to be able to be a steward over your personal finances before you think you can really manage an additional entity's finances. Because what you're doing is building another person. Your business is a whole nother person, according to the United States of America.
That's good. That's good.
So now you got to manage your finances. Then you have to manage your business finances. Right? So now you have 2 bank accounts to reconcile. Now you have, you know, make sure you make enough income, but now does your business make enough income for its expenses? Right? So if you're already really kind of struggling to figure out how you can make enough money to cover your personal life and debt, it's nothing wrong with having a side hustle, right? But is a side hustle a LLC per se, when you really are still trying to establish your personal finances? Right? So I encourage everybody, right? Get a hold of your personal finances, cut some expenses, remove some debt, cut that grocery budget down, see yourself manifest some good habits and some good stewardship, you know, in your personal life. And then that will flow into your business. It will just naturally flow into your business. It's not going to be like a relearned thing with the business, right?
You know, I always say you gotta, you know, it's one thing to appear to have it together. It's one thing to appear to be a sharp thinker or to be someone that has money. But I think we will constantly, all of us in general, doesn't matter what race or ethnicity you come from, we forget that that has nothing to do with alignment. You know, when you're aligning your finances, you got to get educated on what is needed. You know what I mean? Is this a necessity or is this a want? You know, is this outfit going to benefit me? Is this blazer going to benefit me? Or is this credit card that I'm trying to apply for really a good idea for me right now? Do I have the funds to be able to pay it right back? You know, a lot of questions have to come into play, Brandy, when we are trying to better ourselves financially, you know, so that we can get the loans, and so that, like you said,
Absolutely.
It's heartbreaking to see people unable to get things that are out here for them.
Yep.
And let's talk about, being scared of loans. That's another thing.
That's it.
Or
I put it down for sure.
you know, and sometimes it's bondage.
It
It's
is.
mental bondage.
Well, the
It's mental
fear is
bondage.
that you
Yeah.
aren't a good steward and you
Hmm.
don't want to put yourself in position to mess up in the future.
Right. There you
Right.
go.
So just becoming a good steward of your finances, I'm not afraid of any loan. Like there's no loan that would scare me. I mean, it could be $10 million. I'll be like, yep, that sounds good. Let's go. I think I can buy a whole apartment complex with that. Fantastic. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those things I'm not afraid of those things because I know how to spend money properly so that I can get a return on my investment. But if you don't think like that, if you don't understand those things, those principles, then you can be afraid of yourself and not to put yourself in a position where you could endanger yourself anymore. So I get it. I'm with it. But at the same time, we can't be fearful of loans. Like there's a point where when a business owner only owes for a business, like all their debts are paid and the business is the only thing that has credit.
Teach
You
us.
should use other people's money to make money at all costs. I mean, people wear Jordans all the time.
Come on. Teach.
People wear sneakers all the time. If all the
Right.
sneaker people are not buying 2 pair of the shoes they like and putting
Come on.
one of them on a credit card and then selling the other one to get their pair for free, that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. At this point, you should take something that you love and make money from it, but you should use credit to do so, right? That's just short and sweet.
Absolutely.
When I try to buy Yeezys, I try to buy 2 because one pair is going to pay for the ones that I want, right?
Come on. That's right.
So the next thing I want to talk briefly about is your EIN number. This is like your social security number. You have to have an EIN number. It is free. It is available online on irs.gov. I need to apply for an EIN number. That's all you have to do is type it in Google. You have to get this. This is your business's social security number. When you apply for grants, for credit cards, for loans, none of that hits your credit because your credit is under your social security number, not your business social security number. So while you're afraid of getting credit and debt, you can actually apply for a credit card with your business social security number and use your social security number just for the credit check portion. And then what's going to happen is they're going to give you the credit card because of your good credit. And then they're going to put it on your business credit report. So your credit score has never been touched. It's never been even looked at. Your score stays the same. You use that credit card. It doesn't impact your credit at all.
Wow.
Right?
I hope everybody's taking notes.
That is a trick of the trade. Let your business buy everything possible and let your credit score always be just as a useful tool so that your business can continue to acquire things and loans and debt, but it never hits your credit.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's the way you want to do that. So the EIN number is vital. Keep your financials in order. Keep your financials in order. If you can't do it, hire a bookkeeper. If you don't do nothing but put your receipts in a folder, okay, and your revenue numbers in a folder and take it to somebody once a month and let them keep it up with it on a monthly basis. That's the minimum that I would do, right? To make sure that everything was in line, okay? Have a good accountant. So I just wrote quick notes so we won't be long tonight. And I just want to make sure you guys have a good accountant. Let me tell you, when you run a business, you have to educate yourself. You cannot solely depend on other people to know enough information to where you know nothing and you rely 100% on them. I'll never forget years ago, Oprah Winfrey said, I sign every check. And she said that because she wants to ensure that everything that comes out of her bank account is what she has approved. She understands why she's spending it. She understands why it's being used, and she understands what she should get in return for that. purchase, right? Because people take advantage of you. And I noticed last year when tons of people were doing grants and PPP loans and SBA loans and a ton of stuff, they had no clue about the tax paperwork. When they said send in your 1040, they never even knew that they had a 1040. When they said send the Schedule C, didn't know. What'd you say,
and it happened to a lot of business owners. You're like, what now? So you have to, I always say the best business owner has a library. My dad taught me that growing up, and go figure, I'm an English teacher now, but the best business owner has a library of books that teach you. There's books out here. You have the internet. You have like major access to learning. I like books. Some people like the internet. I like those really credible sources, but I'm not saying online sources are not credible. Of course they are, some of them, but I like to make sure that I'm reading up on things that are going to make me more knowledgeable as a business owner, so that I know what I'm talking about. Because people say, like Brandy said, give me your 1040. You're not looking around like, oh, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, what's the EIN? You have to make sure you educate yourself on all of that.
And read the form. You might not know how to fill the form out, but when you get that book back from your accountant or your tax preparer, read through your paperwork. Do not just say, oh man, I'm getting $6,000. Bet I'm good. I'm solid. No, go through those forms. Though that person has wrote off money to get you that $6,000 back. You need to go in there and see, because when that auditor comes, they're not going to talk to that tax. They're going to talk to you. They're going to tell you to go figure out what that tax preparer did. And if they didn't do what was right, you're going to pay the penalty for that error. It's not going to be them. So we have to make sure that as business owners, that we are diligent and we are knowledgeable about how our professionals are handling our responsibilities. You can pay people all day, but it's still your responsibility to make sure it's done right, right? So we want to make sure that's good. Okay. So, and I want to say this. I'm doing some consultation for people that are trying to get their businesses set up, that are trying to get EIN numbers, that are trying to get their finances in order. I'm just going to do 30-minute consultations. So DM me on Instagram or DM me on Facebook. Let me know. And we can have a conversation, and I'll set up a time in my schedule, because I know people need it, and I want to make sure that we can help each other, right?
Yeah.
Now my time is very valuable. I'm a busy woman. So
right. So if you sign up.
Exactly. So sign up so we can get you on the schedule, and I can make sure I can help you guys. So grants, right? So the grants is quick. There are tons of grants, private versus like state institutions, city and federal. Okay. The city is probably the easiest grants you can get. They don't have them often, but they do have a website. Go to your local city website, go under the business section. They have all type of organizations in your local government, your local city. Their website is going to tell you classes, events. You want to go to all those things. You want to go to some of this free stuff before you sign up for your LLC. This is the due diligence of a real business owner. Right now, some people have people in their life, like my friends have me. They can call me. I can tell them what they should do or shouldn't do. Everybody doesn't have access to they don't have those type of relationships. So for those people, I'm telling you that these events are given by the city, the state, the government, and you can go to these things for free, and they will more than be glad to help you establish. In Greensboro, there's a whole building available for free office space, right? And free help with marketing, all kind of stuff. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Is it Elm Eugene Street? Is that Elm Eugene?
Elm Eugene Street.
It starts with the N. It starts with the M. N. It's a funny name to it. But
we're going to put it in the post.
Yes, we will.
I will tag it in the post when we get done, so you guys will have it. But I got a city grant. I got state grants. They had grants for people that had employees. All you had to do was submit how many employees you had, and the state gave away up to $250,000 in payroll money. Just money, just giving grant money. They had $25,000 grant money for businesses last year, right? And the reason I believe that I got most of the money is because when they opened it up, in 24 hours, all of my stuff was submitted. My EIN number was submitted. My LLC paperwork was submitted. My financial P&L was submitted. I mean, they knew that I had to have already had this stuff in place. I wasn't trying to find it. I wasn't delayed. I wasn't getting held up. And I think that's what put me ahead of a lot of people that may have been in the line later, because they had to go and gather this information when mine was just readily available. So that's a big thing. When something comes available, we want to be prepared so that we can be the first in line, because we know there are people out there that are first in line all the time. And we are trying to do a better job of getting in line.
That is, oh my goodness. Say that again.
Right?
And that goes under procrastination.
Yeah.
You can't, I know as business owners, we have a big schedule. That's why I'm a major planner. I make sure I put my planner out daily. And I say, okay, Tamika, like even before I start my day, I'm going, what do I have on my schedule? Yeah. Like I'm looking at that.
It's so important.
And if you know you're not a good planner, hire one. And I know it sounds crazy and like, I don't have money for that. Well, everybody who opens a business, you're thinking that you're going to make money. So guess what? You have to make sure sometimes your business will flow properly if you have those people set in place. Like I was talking to somebody, Brandy, about our past weekend event. Didn't mean to get off a little subject, but I was talking about this. And I said, I hire people. I mean,
because you're my cousin. This is what we do.
Cup of Cake is my business, but I don't have to be the one to actually go there and decorate. Yes, we can event plan. Yes, because I can plan. I'm a great planner, but I don't have to be the one to set it up. There's people out here that does that and do it well. So that's the thing is, like Brandy's saying, make sure you're not procrastinating. Make sure you're lining yourself up correctly so that you can be successful in business.
And be prepared. Absolutely.
Yes.
Delegating services to someone else is brilliant. It's a brilliant. I mean, we have to do it because when you run a business by yourself, you are everybody, right? So the best thing you can do is delegate services. We're just saying, if you're going to give the service to someone else, even if you know nothing about it, while you're working with that service provider, learn as much as you can about your business. You don't have to learn all the stuff about their profession, but you do have to learn about their profession when it relates to your business. They should explain to you what the tax documents are saying and how it can help you this year or help you next year. I'll never forget, I had a tax year where I wrote off like $30,000 in losses and had no idea that you can spread your losses over years. So instead of me doing it 1 year, I could have spread that over 4 or 5 years and then got a return every year. It's just all about what you know and what you don't know. And it costs. It truly costs. So loans, we talked about being afraid of loans earlier, right?
It costs to be the boss. That's across our screw.
Can't wear that t-shirt for free.
No, you can't. It costs to be the boss. I tell people, all the time, just educating yourself. You're going to have to become a geek.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, I think Brandy and I are already geeks. I mean, that's just us in general. Yeah. But like, I think you have to become one in your field.
You do.
Whatever you're in business for, you need to be a geek about that. Like I'm a geek about cupcakes. I might not do every single design because that's just not my niche, but I know what's going on. And I know the background because due to my cousin being an accountant and everything like that, I do know the money side of it too, the business side. And if you don't know, go ask somebody. Go ask somebody that can educate. I think, Brandy, sometimes we get to this point where we want to go hide in the corner and say, no, I don't want to ask anybody. I want to find out for myself. But that's fine too. But there's people out here that know, all right, that's been in business for years that know what you're trying to understand. All right. So, yeah.
That's a huge thing. Huge. And I think I think I've learned a lot and I've built a lot because I read a lot. I mean, I will listen to a ton of YouTube videos. I mean, I think I posted something a week or two ago and I was laughing with my friend because he knows me and he was like, "This is so you." And I said, I literally spend 3 hours a day just learning information, like constantly learning. And I preach to everybody that is on my teams and in my businesses. We learn every day. Not learning is not, it's not acceptable. You continuously telling me you didn't know something, it's just not acceptable. It can't be, because we can't move forward. If you're not growing and I'm growing, we're going apart. If I'm continuously growing and you're not growing, then you're growing. My business is growing and I'm growing and you're growing apart.
Wow. That's huge. I think that's huge because that's a stopping moment here, because I'm even a problem sometimes to myself with that. I'll say, well, I'm not really good at that.
Mm-hmm.
But see, you got to stop that. You got to put a stop to that, because you need to become good at that, so that, guess what? Somebody's not taking your position. You know what I mean? Or you need to become good at that so you can be more knowledgeable, so that when someone else comes along and has the same problem, guess who's helping you? You know,
That
so
right there, Tamika, is going to be the place where you lose all your money. The
yes,
place where you say, you know what,
yes,
I'm just not good at that. And then it
yeah,
gets dusty because you put it off on the other side of your desk. You can't
come
get to
on,
it because there's fear
come
and like
on,
frustration. You
yes,
never get to it, right? So you
yes,
don't do that task. And that task is your money.
yes. There you go. You know, I have an example at my career. I have a career. I'm a teacher, beside my business. But I always said, well, I'm not that good at technology, which
Yeah.
I am. I am.
Yeah,
But I just not good on certain forms is what I would
for
say.
sure.
I'm not that good at that.
I'm not either.
And I had to get to the point where I said, no, we're not doing that
Doesn't matter.
anymore. We're not doing that anymore, because, and that like recently happened, that someone brought it to my attention. No, we're not going to say that anymore, because you are good at what you do,
Yeah.
and you are going to be good at that part,
Yes.
so you got to be able to zone in on your strengths and weaknesses,
Wow.
because think about it. Well, I don't like doing paperwork. Well, you're not going to like applying for a loan or grant. See how that
Oh
goes?
my gosh.
You're not going to be,
All it
if you
is.
don't like paperwork, then you probably are not going to be filing your taxes every year, which is going to lead to you getting in trouble.
Yes.
See that, I think that's key. I think that's key to us moving forward as business owners, is zoning in on your weakness too. We zone in a lot and praise our strengths, but what is that weakness? And if
Yes.
that is a weakness, who's going to train me? Who's
Yes.
going to be here that I'm going to ask? It's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely.
I'm the first to say, listen, give me feedback and help, because I want to grow. So I think that's really good, Brandy. Good thing.
I'm gonna do the last one because we're like, it's so good. We're gonna come back. I think we should have
Yes, we need
I
a
think we should
second
have a
part to
whole one,
this. Yes, we do.
a
We
whole
need a
meeting
second part.
on not like becoming stronger in your weaknesses.
Oh my gosh, that's it. That's
a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal, and I think that it deals with confidence.
Yep.
And self-esteem and insecurities, because sometimes your insecurities is just simple as, gosh, really, that's what your weakness is, and you're sitting over here insecure about that, when you could have asked somebody. Like I always say, like, surround yourselves with people that are smarter than you.
Yes.
That's just one of my major, like, when I leave this world, I want people to know that about me. Like, I surrounded myself with people that are smarter, way smarter than me.
You have to.
Because it doesn't mean that we're not, no, we're highly intelligent. But I want to sit in a room where somebody, I'm like, yo, you know that? I want to know that. Get me to that point.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I'm literally on here amazed, because some of the things my cousin just spoke about, Brandy, I'm like, yo, I was sitting here like on my phone, like literally like writing it down.
Yeah.
Like typing it down, because I was like, yo, that, I didn't know that.
Right.
See, so you always can, you just got to invest in your circle to make sure that you have people in your circle that can educate you. You can educate them, and
That's so good.
everybody's winning.
That's so good.
That's why she's sitting with 180,000,
Yes.
because she planted herself correctly. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? That's why she was able to get the grants, because
I
she
did the
planted
paperwork.
herself. You did. You know, we go back to, listen, we holy over here. We go back to everything, goes back to a little bit of holy.
Mm-hmm.
And it should, you did the paperwork.
That's it.
You gotta crawl before you walk. You
Yep.
gotta make sure that, okay, if I need this paperwork, if I need my 1040, if I need to apply for my EIN, if I need to make sure I got my LLC, hold on. Let me check with myself though. Hey, Tamika, do you need that right now? Are you generating enough income to get
Yes.
that? Because you're gonna have to pay 200 and some odd dollars to make
Every
sure
year.
every year that stays there. You see, you know, we all want to win, Brandy.
That's it.
We
That's
all
it.
want to promote ourselves. We all want to
Mhm.
say, yeah, I got that LLC. And then, but what we see, it's not LLC.
That's the truth.
That's
That's true.
that's a play on words. What we see is not really the
It's
LLC.
not a lucrative business. It's not
It's
you know what I'm
not.
saying?
Yeah.
And we don't want that. It's disappointing, and I think it creates
Right.
an atmosphere of like not having the confidence, right? But what we want to do and what we were doing tonight is we just wanted to tell you, like, look, this is what I've done, and this is how I did it. And I know some people, and we'll wrap up here. I know some people were thinking, oh my gosh, she's about to give me all the secrets, and I do have some,
Right.
right? You can just basically Google,
Right.
grants for women in business,
And
COVID grants for business owners, COVID grants for African American business owners, grants
yes,
for minority business owners,
women in
minority
business.
business owner grants. All
Yes.
of those
Yes.
grants, though, are going to require you to fill out a substantial amount of paperwork and information. Some of them
Absolutely.
are quick and easy,
Absolutely.
but some of
And
them ask
Brandy,
you hard questions.
right. I think it's important too, like sometimes to kind of stop and take a break and say, let me kind of write out a plan for my business. Like there's many businesses that don't even have a business plan.
Yep.
I have a business plan right upstairs that I can quickly pull out. I have it printed.
Yep.
If anybody ever want to see it, boom, I got it.
Yep.
You got to have that accessible to you at all times.
Absolutely.
If you're serious about what you're doing.
Yep.
Because when you want your business to excel and to elevate, recently we just elevated in Cup of Cake. Brandy has elevated with, I mean, she's major right now. Major. She's doing a lot of major things, but we've both elevated our businesses and going in a different direction with them. And what you'll notice is sometimes I'm glad that I didn't do something.
Yes.
Because I needed to add this to it. So you're constantly rearranging and changing your business plan. You're constantly updating it. So you do need that printed copy.
Yeah.
You do need to make sure, like she said, you have your EIN. You do need to make sure you're looking up those loans and those grants. You do need to make sure that you are not limiting yourself to anything. Make sure listen, the market is huge.
Yes.
The internet is wide. Okay. World Wide Web. Books are all on what? Shelves. Get out there and educate yourself. Don't be afraid to ask people, all right, for what you need. Okay. Yep. There's some really nice people out here that will definitely help you. Like
absolutely, us. For sure.
But Brandy, I know we're closing, but I wanted to go back to her 30-minute consultation. I think that is wonderful. I'm going to even be signing up. See, that's how it goes here. Yep. I'm signing up because I'm getting educated on something. Pretty soon this world is going to open back up, and what is it's time to learn again, and while it's sitting still, it's time to learn. So you got to make sure that you align yourself, and you make sure that you do tune into to forums and to sessions like this,
Yep.
so that you can get educated. All right. We can't do it in one session. We
That's
can't.
it.
We can't. There's no way. I mean, we'll be here all night. We'll literally
We
be
did a
here
lot
till
tonight.
11. Yeah. Like we would be here till 11 p.m. trying to explain to you everything.
Yep.
But we definitely got some great things in store. Brandy, I thoroughly enjoyed tonight's lesson. This was a lesson.
Thank you, guys.
This was a
I
lesson
hope
with a
it helps
blessing.
you.
I'm telling you, man,
Yeah.
it's definitely a lesson with a blessing is what I call it, because it blesses your soul and it blesses your confidence as a
Yeah.
business owner. And it says, you know what? I can do that. I'm going to go right off of this live and I'm going to start researching while I got just an hour.
Yeah.
Researching for my business and to better myself as a business owner. All right. We're
And
constantly
we can do
evolving.
it.
We can do it, man. We're constantly evolving, constantly changing. Don't limit yourself. Use all your gifts at one time, and definitely don't limit yourself, especially to all the funding that is out there, as far as business loans and business grants go. Well, Brandy, it was our pleasure. All right. It was our pleasure, both of us,
Love
to
you
have
guys.
these wonderful viewers on tonight. And Brandy, as always, thank you for partnering with us at Beyond the Batter. Guys, it is time for us to go. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. If you have any questions or concerns, please send all of your questions to cupofcakegreensboro@gmail.com. We'll be waiting to respond to your questions. See you later.
Bye, guys.